It's a movie podcast.
Yeah, well, I am more injured hyena than Wolverine, and you are more Fredpool than Deadpool. So as you may guess, we're talking about the film of the moment, Deadpool and Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry, and I suppose we may as well throw into that how it has pretty much snookered Marvel's um, past few films and more than probably their next few films as well. So, what was your instant reaction when you saw it?
I would just like to point out at this point to listeners that there will be spoilers ahead.
Oh,
So if you have
spoilers.
not watched the film,
Yeah.
please stop listening now and return to this podcast at another time or in another multiverse.
Yeah. In this multiverse, there are spoilers. In the next one, there may not be. God,
Exactly.
that's the problem with the multiverse, isn't it? And we've said this before on different podcasts in different iterations, that the multiverse allows you just to say, sod what I've written, sod what we've done. We're just going to do something else.
Well, in this instance, it's brought Wolverine back, Logan, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
It's brought a dead character back to life.
It has.
And there are parts in the entire film where it's brought characters back from Marvel before it was Marvel.
Yeah.
And I have gone cross-eyed.
And that was so easy to do with 20th Century Fox. And so, go on. What was your initial reaction to it?
I loved every second. I was fully along for that ride.
Yeah, it was.
It hits the sweet spot for me in that it's funny. It definitely is funny.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
The set pieces are really great. The way it messes with the multiverse with tongue fully in cheek,
all the way through cheek. Yeah.
But the fourth wall being broken in so many different ways.
The proposal.
Oh, look. Finally, Paul Rudd has aged. It was just superb. And I think because of those pop culture references of really just slamming everything else.
Yeah.
It really got my vote. But I just think, it was just I don't want to say big dumb fun because it definitely wasn't dumb, but it was a lot of fun.
It was certainly something that's been missing from the superhero films of recent, where they have taken themselves way too seriously and then try to inject humor into it. So Thor Love and Thunder,
I was going to say,
which was a turd. There's no
swing and a miss.
Yeah, well, it was a swing and a miss, and go and get a taxi to see if you can catch the miss. And even the Marvels to some degree. I think the Marvels was unfairly treated. I think it was a smallish Marvel film that got all of the wrong attention for all the wrong reasons, and it wasn't that bad a film. But even when that tried humor, didn't work. And we talked about the over dilution of Marvel and its IP and its content, and I think this film is exactly what superhero movies needed. If we move away from cinema for a second and look at streaming services, look at The Boys, for example. The Boys is a superhero TV show that works because it's right on the edge of what is technically allowable, from its violence, from its sex, from its language. And I think a lot of people enjoy that. And I think that works with Deadpool. We know it works with Deadpool from 1 and 2. I think less so from 2. I think 1 was a big surprise. Shit, we can have a superhero that does that. 2, I think maybe it got a little bit overly complicated in some of the story structure. But 3 was just a blast from the very, very start of it. From the using Logan's bones as weapons. Did you know there are 226 bones in the body? Or 227? If I'm watching Golden Girls or whatever it was.
Yeah, and the use of, was it NSYNC's bye bye,
yeah, superb, absolutely superb, and it shows a real passion. The Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are obviously very, very, very passionate about those characters. And that came across. It came across in the fact that there was a lot of care in the writing. There were some significant plot holes in the writing. You know, if you're gonna get into Nerdsville and say how does that go with canon and how does that go with the existing history of Marvel and the superheroes, there were some gaps in there, but it doesn't take much work to point back to the earlier X-Men films and say, shit, you've done the Phoenix story 3 times, Jean Grey. There's plot holes all over those films. But I just think this was just there's a lot of care, a lot of love, and they just went full out with the humor. Just went, let's hit as many jokes as we can. Let's get as many cameos as we can. Let's make as many references as we can. And it's brilliant.
Speaking of cameos, I think the best cameo of the lot was Cavill.
Nah.
Oh, I do. I think that was brilliant.
It was brilliant, and it was pure fan service.
It was pure fan service.
But it was also, oi DC, you fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, that totally was a big nod to that.
Yeah. But did you notice that when he turned round, he loaded his claws out like he did in Mission Impossible? Yes. It was genius. It was absolutely brilliant. The one for me was Chris Evans.
Yeah, it was a good one, and that again blows apart the multiverse with the way that was played out, and that was a funny one. It
was just that whole thing. You can when they're talking to him, you can see a little snippet of blue sticking out from underneath his his sand garb he's wearing, and you see a little bit of white, and you think to yourself, "Oh my God, it's Chris Evans! It's Captain America!" And they actually, when he says it's time to say it, and Deadpool goes, Avengers Assemble. Yeah, they actually start to play the Avengers music behind it.
They did.
But it's when he said flame on, I almost fell off my chair laughing. I can just imagine him sitting in a room going, what would be the funniest cameo to do? Yeah, not what would be the best fan service, but what would be the funniest thing to do to get somebody in and go, the most for this, but they're actually going to be this. Because there's no way Captain America would be in the void.
No, but I think the cameo that probably was a step above that was the 3 cameos at the end. But one particular, Wesley Snipes returning his blade, because my jaw dropped and I went, really?
Yeah,
wow.
They must have had a lot of copyright problems with that one, because his costume wasn't authentic. He didn't have the right weapons with him. I don't know. It was great to see him, because no matter what Marvel do now, there will only ever be one Blade.
But it's like, I just want to be sequels. And Deadpool just has that little look to the camera and looks back. I just thought, yeah. We all know that he's not coming back as Blade apart from in this.
No, but the thing is that he will always be Blade. It's like Ron Perlman will always be Hellboy, irrespective of who they try and shoehorn into that outfit, because some actors embody the character. It's like Henry Cavill, and this might be a bit of a contentious comment in this, because I'm sure there'll be some Christopher Reeve fans out there, but Henry Cavill was the best Superman by a country mile. And what's James Gunn done? Gone and found a doppelganger to be the new Superman. You think to yourself, just keep Henry Cavill. But, never mind.
The other line from those 3 that got me was, who the fuck is your dialect coach? Yeah. The Minions?
Yeah. Or the Elektra joke. Daredevil, the joke about Daredevil, and then there was the obviously very strong joke, because when this was filmed, it would have been quite a fresh wound at the time. But the
divorce, not the divorce one.
Yeah, it's been getting out more since he's been divorced. You're thinking, oh shit, that must have been pretty close to when that happened. But you just look at each character, and I don't think, I've seen quite a lot of criticism of the big bad not being big or bad enough. Cassandra, I can't remember her name now. I do apologize.
Yeah, I can't remember. But that's just. I thought she was brilliant.
Yeah,
I thought she was really good.
She did exactly what she had to do, and I love the how she reaches into people's minds
Mm.
and the fingers coming through. I just thought that was brilliant. That was such a good effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of a character that I saw in there and went, ugh, that stands out like a sore thumb. It's not very good, or why? All the characters, all the screen time was used
Mm.
properly. I just enjoyed it from beginning to end. I've watched it twice now.
It's a proper comic book film in that it is comic book violence, which is extreme.
Oh yeah,
But that's
yeah,
why The Boys works as well, because it's close to the original
yeah,
IP,
yeah.
and that's what comic book is about, not Thor: Love and
It's Tom and
Thunder.
Jerry. It's Tom and Jerry violence, isn't it?
That
It's
bit, the fight sequence in the bus,
yeah,
when they're going through the bus and you see it from side on,
yeah,
I just thought that was absolutely
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. But it's comic book violence because it's so absurd in it how over the top it is that it can't be real, and people can't regenerate, and people can't have claws coming out their hands. So all these people are going, "Oh my God, I asked for a refund. I couldn't believe my children were watching that." Did you not look at the certificate?
It's an R-rated in America, 18
Yeah,
here
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
And everyone knows that Deadpool isn't going to be
Of
about
course they
flowers
do.
and rainbows.
It's just a bloody snowflake cinema brigade, isn't it?
But speaking of which, it was really great to hear Wolverine swear, because that is what has needed to be there from day
Yeah.
one.
Not his first time though. He swore in, was it Days of Future Past?
I think he did Logan as well.
Was it? Yeah, but I think he swore in Days of Future Past.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
But
I might be wrong.
it's the most uses of the F word in an R
Oh,
movie.
brilliant, brilliant, and quite rightly so, because it adds to the fun, to the comedy of it. That kind of language that people like that would use. People everywhere use that kind of language. So why try and script a film which is very high energy and very violent and very all of those things? Why try and with prose instead of fuck knuckle or something like that?
That's what you went for first. Fuck knuckle.
Well, I just love the way he kept on calling him Peanut.
But yeah, I just thought it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was a great watch, and the fourth wall lines just made it for me. I love that. I always love something that breaks the fourth wall. That really gets my nerd on, because I just think, yep, it's a nod. It's a nod that you know what we know, and we know what you know. Great, we're on the same level.
So
I think
which
it's
is
that connection that makes it.
Which is the best fourth wall break then?
In the film,
Yeah.
I do think that. Oh, look, Paul Rudd's finally aged. I just thought that was
I think it's
line.
nice, Wolverine. I can do fourth wall as well. The proposal. I just think that's
that was good. And it's the way he does it slow. The proposal.
But there's so many elements of it. Deadpool wants the dog, and Nicepool won't give him the dog, so Deadpool uses Nicepool as a human shield. Why are you stopping? I'm tired. I'm dragging you. You've not heard of doing leg day. And just before the first fight, before the first fight between Wolverine and Deadpool, what does he say? All right, nerds, go and get your special sock.
Yeah,
this
that's
going
it.
to be something. And I'm sure somebody somewhere did go and get their special sock.
It was just, they're a great duo, because obviously they're exceptionally close, good friends.
All very, very good actors.
And yeah, there's just love there in the whole film. The script, the directing, the act, everything. There's just pure love for that film, and everyone that comes in it to do a cameo or this, that, and the other does it because they know it's coming from a place of love, and I just think that's what it's about, and for the right reason.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things which is kind of ancillary to it, and I think has been a big part of its success at the box office is the marketing campaign. Now,
it's relentless, to be honest. I've got a bit of fatigue from it. It
is kind of relentless, but there's a lot of variety in its relentlessness. I would strongly recommend you watch Hot Ones with them.
I've watched parts of it, not all of it.
It's brilliant.
Mm.
It's brilliant. It's not as good as the Vince Vaughn one. The Vince Vaughn one is the best episode ever. And what else did they did? They did the Vanity Fair lie detector tests.
I've not seen that one.
It is basically what it says on the tin. You're put on a lie detector with the expert monitoring the machine, and typically it's the Vanity Fair reporter asking you, because it's normally like a 1-to-1. So Ryan Reynolds is in the chair with all the stuff strapped to him, the guy there, and Hugh Jackman's asking him the questions, and then vice versa. It's something. Yeah.
I'll watch that then.
Yeah. What was it in 2016? There was a leak of test footage of somebody dressed as Deadpool.
No,
Were
I
you
have watched some
responsible
of
for
this.
it? Yeah.
I have watched some of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw
Yeah.
some of the bits on Instagram.
Yeah, where you're responsible, and they took over. Was it Jimmy Kimmel? What there was an episode? I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, or it's either Kimmel or Colbert, but I think it's Kimmel,
Mm.
where they were the hosts, and basically they just interviewed each other. So they introduced the show together. One went off, walked back on, and was interviewed. The other one walked off, walked back on, and was interviewed. And that has, because that image of the film and of that friendship, again, which is mirrored in the film, that eventual friendship, which is mirrored in the film, has really added a different layer to the marketing to it. It's not just look at my muscles, look at my dress, look at my,
It's not a typical Disney Marvel layout. But he is a very, very astute marketer.
He
As in
has to
Ryan
be.
Reynolds.
You look at the success he's had with Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile.
Yeah, he is, and he created his own. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. He's created his own marketing company for that alone.
Right.
So he knows his shit.
And Wrexham as well,
does.
of course.
And Wrexham, my God, yeah. I mean, Welsh pool.
Yeah, he's which is one of the Wrexham players, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, there's 100 Deadpool variants that come through, including Lady Pool, who was played by
Blake Lively.
Cowboy Pool, who was played by
All right.
Matthew McConaughey. One of the ones that hasn't got a name was played by Tom Holland's brother Harry.
Oh, really? Didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I know his daughter was Kid Pool.
And Baby Pool, his youngest was Baby Pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welsh Pool was played by one of the Wrexham players. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it because I think they're the only ones that have any major screen time. Oh, Nathan Fillion was Head Pool.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nathan Fillion from Firefly, Castle, and The Rookie. And
good actor.
Every single James Gunn film as well.
Good actor, though.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad. Yeah. Let's not talk about Firefly, because I'll go off on a rant about how it was cancelled after one season.
Oh, you and everyone else.
And
also to part of their marketing campaign, I read this week that the playlist on Spotify is one of the most played and most duplicated playlists on Spotify of all time.
Wow.
And it's led to a ridiculous upsurge in like a Virgin being streamed. Because something like a 200% uptick or something like that.
Yeah, he said he'd been waiting 6 years because he wanted to use that song in a scene, and he'd been waiting 6 years to get the right scene to use it in. Ramifications for Marvel films then, because they've obviously shown since Endgame that the game is up for that format. That was a terrible pun. Do apologize, but. Are you still with us, Daniel? You haven't moved.
Yeah,
for 30 seconds.
I'm just not
reacting
bowing myself to your standards.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, it's shown that they got to Endgame. They wrote themselves into a corner with Endgame, and pretty much every film since Endgame has been a sliding scale of, poor returns. Dilute the IP with too much TV. And he is Marvel Jesus. He's. They've got to take a lot of lessons from this film, haven't they? They've got to take a huge number of lessons about how they're going to reinvigorate the Marvel films with a cast which is at least 3 Black Widow, Iron Man, and Captain America. Two of those three are the biggest stars and biggest characters of the first 20 films, however it was. How are they going to do that with the stars and the characters they've got left?
I would like to think that Feige,
Big boy.
is going to take this as a sign that the audience is bored of the old Marvel. All hail the new Marvel. In the okay, we've got the multiverse. Okay, let's take it as a reset rather than we're going to start going off onto complete tangents. But the multiverse has brought back the fact that you can have Doctor Doom, played by Harry Connick Jr. Oh, that'd be funny to see, wouldn't it?
What film was that? The Fantastic Fourth?
Yeah.
Or the Fantastic Augmented Seventh in a jazz.
Welcome to the multiverse.
Oh, God. That sounded like Radiohead. Move on. I just see them going along a corner, which is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So, Thor, Love and Thunder, the Marvels, Ant-Man and Quantumania, Doctor Strange, they were all lesser films than the films that came before them by huge margins. There were elements in them that were quite good. And I see the curve that they're on is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. How do they get off that road? How do they suddenly straighten that road back out without doing something stupid? If they do a full reset, I don't think anyone's going to give a shit. I don't think people will engage with that.
I think it's opened a very precarious situation where it gives the fans the right to go, well, if they can do that, why can't we have Iron Man and Doctor Doom in a film together?
Which is the storyline? I'm sure it's on. It is the storyline they're going to use. Yeah, it is.
Got to be on the roadmap.
No doubt, they're going to use the Iron Man is Doctor Doom storyline.
This is the problem they've opened up: is that anything is possible. Anything can be done now with the multiverse situation.
Yeah.
So if they're going to bring back an end game where we go back to the future part 1 and part 2 and someone comes back to change and alter the realities and blah, blah, it's dangerous ground. I think what Deadpool's what Deadpool's done is make Feige rethink Marvel as a whole in that, okay, we can have this character in there to just blow everything apart, break the fourth wall, take the mickey out of what we've had before, and it's the biggest grossing film of the lot. Brilliant. What do we do from here? I think take those lessons and ignore what's happened from Endgame, because like you say, it has been diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I've got to slam it, but Thor Love and Thunder was one of the worst films I have ever seen.
It wasn't as bad as Madam Web.
Awful. I've not seen Madam Web after what
you've got to treat yourself. You've got to treat yourself to watching Madam Web. No, I'm being deadly serious here. I think it's okay to be a fan of a genre, but being a fan means you take the rough with the smooth. And when people say, Love and Thunder was bad or Quantumania was bad, you've got to look at the other side of the street. And the other side of the street is DC and Sony making consistently shit films and ruining the IP just to retain a license. That's the only reason they're doing it. My concern is that to get Marvel films reinvigorated, they don't have the actors or the characters in place already to do that big shift towards a lighter side. You can see Tom Holland, you can see the Spider-Man kind of working with it, but this new Captain America, this you go into the Falcon and stuff like that, you just can't see those characters suddenly becoming funny.
No, you're right. They're not going to. I wonder if it'll be more commissioning of a Deadpool thread.
I
So
think
when
it's going to have to be. Yeah.
next announcement would be like, we've got Deadpool 4, which is called this. We've got Deadpool 5, more pool for the dead. And
I think I think what it's going to be is it's going to be an element of the next, not Captain America 4, because I think that's too close. But I think you're going to see a lot of Hugh Jackman and a lot of Ryan Reynolds popping up in all of the Marvel films towards Secret Wars, where they become, permanent fixtures on the screen at that point. Because it's going to take something like that to make people interested. It's going to take something like, I don't even think bringing the rest of the X-Men in will gather that much interest, because effectively, one sits in a wheelchair, the other one goes, "Ooh, the weather." They're not terribly good superheroes, are they? And the films have shown that, So I think there's going to be this really, really heavy reliance on Deadpool and Wolverine, and then I think there's going to be this heavy reliance on this anticipation of Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doom, and I don't think that's enough. I really don't.
I think there's a huge anticipation for Fantastic Four as well, and their flying Ford car.
It's going to be shit. My words now. It's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the anticipation is there because I so anticipated this. This is so much fun. I cannot wait to see it on the silver screen.
You made me snort, you bugger.
I'm just so excited to see what they're going to do with the Fantastic Four. I don't know why he's from the Bronx.
The thing about the Fantastic Four, okay, one of them's made of brick. One of them's stretchy. One of them does force fields, and the other one can set himself on fire. Ooh.
Brick, stretchy fields, and fire.
Yeah, they're just not very good superheroes, and that's why the films that they've been in before have not been very good films, because once you've stretched, what else can you do but stretch? And once you've gone, rumble, rumble, I'm a rock, what else can you do but go, rumble, rumble, I'm a rock? You've got Superman, you've got Batman, you've got Iron Man, you've got all these characters who have multiple layers to them, multiple abilities within those layers. And you got the Fantastic Four, who should really just be called the Four.
Four, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well, what you've got after Rumble, Rumble, I'm a rock is Rumble, 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 I am an island. Simon and Garfunkel reference for those who are trying to keep up.
Or Rumble, 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 I'm dust, attrition, damn you. That was a geological joke for people that didn't keep up.
Rumble, 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 I am Dwayne Johnson. And for any listeners, the tumbleweed is fully passing through the studios.
Oh my God, there's so much tumbleweed outside. So anyway, back to Deadpool and Wolverine. I think one of the things that they did really cleverly towards the end of the film, because there wasn't a typical big bad to fight, like Thanos at the end of Endgame. I just love that they brought that friendship, that love together. I know it's a bit hammy, it's a bit twee, isn't it? That love can conquer all, but it just fitted in with the whole theme of Deadpool, and I want to save my universe because all the people I love are here, and I really got that. Really,
the bit where they joined up hands, held hands, however. And when
Hugh Jackman's shirt ripped off, even I went, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At your age?
Yeah.
At our age? Young man.
You can see a certain attraction. What's the guy 55 and he looks like that? And you think to yourself, yeah, I didn't even look like that when I was 25.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to There's one piece from earlier in the film that we've not mentioned that absolutely made me roar. when the fight sequence in the car, which I thought on the whole was brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But when he smashes Wolverine's head into the dashboard, all you hear is ah. And I went,
I love the end of the fight when it's the next morning and he's just wrapped up in the seatbelts.
But the fact, because obviously it's 20th Century Fox, the IP is there, just to have the opening bit of The Greatest Showman, I just thought was inspired. Such a lovely touch.
Yeah, the whole thing, like you said before, it was made with love. There's just layers of fan service, attention to detail is just phenomenal all the way through it. And I think that it's going to be very, very difficult to replicate this as an event film. I think Ryan Reynolds is intelligent enough and astute enough not to try.
I think he's intelligent and astute enough to just say, maybe we just park this for a while. Maybe I appear as a post-credits bit on another film as a segue to another. And that's it. We're calling it a day. Maybe
they will be throwing money at them to do Deadpool Wolverine 2. And I guarantee, well, as much as you can guarantee with the way actors are, but I just can't see it happening ever. Because that film, from beginning to end, it had a start and it had closure. It had everything you needed that could lead into them guest starring, appearing, cameoing into all the other films, which will give all the other films a bit of juice. I don't think they'll do a second film like that.
Well, Jackman's signed up for how many more is it? Is it a 5-film deal?
I think it's all the way through to Secret Wars or whatever the last film is. Yeah. So that's going to take him well into his 60s.
Well into retirement.
Oh, yeah.
He will actually end up as Logan.
Well, old man Logan, yeah. I don't think they will. I hope they don't. I hope this is one of those films where we never get a direct sequel.
I don't want a direct sequel to this, because as a standalone film, even if you dismiss Deadpool 1 and 2, it's a fantastic film.
Oh, it's truly fantastic. And there's enough exposition and backfill in it to explain what happened in 1 and 2 without you having to go and watch 1 and 2. So it's a perfect capsule. I hope they just say that's that job done and leave it there. There are very, very, very few films that you watch where you think, I never want to see a sequel to that, because that, Jaws is another example.
Yeah, that's a very good example.
Doing a sequel to Jaws was just a terrible idea. I don't think we'll see Deadpool 4 either.
Do you think he's then just going to get pushed into the multiverse as part of other films?
I think
as the comic relief. So, for example, if you had someone like Endgame, it was a bit heavy, he would be interjected as the light relief. I
think what they're going to do is they're going to, over a couple of films, introduce him in, so it becomes a full Avenger, like he's always wanted to be. Yeah, but he is turned somehow, so he becomes Evil Pool and kills 1, 2, 3 Avengers.
Why was Thor crying?
Yeah, I think there's something there that character has got this. He's good. He's fun loving. He's light relief. But if you flip him on this side, that's what she said. Then you've got a lot of mileage to go with Evil Pool. And this is where Wolverine staying somewhere equidistant to him allows Logan to actually bring Evil Pool back to Deadpool.
Okay, I can see that sort of happening.
Because the characters that they've got left, you've got Doctor Strange, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch is technically dead, Hulk, Banner, Thor, Spider-Man. Who else have we got? But of those characters, who of those characters have got an arc left that hasn't been investigated? Or
I want to say Hulk, but he's kind of been that on the fringe character anyway, to a point. He serves a purpose, and that purpose is to be Hulk when needed.
I think the opportunity to do a new Hulk standalone movie has gone. And I think, unfortunately, Hulk is always going to be one of the side characters now.
That's what I mean. I was just thinking there's not there, but we've been the Hulk route a few times, and it's not.
So going back to Deadpool and Wolverine, I would give it 4 out of 5 Logan's Bones. How about yourself?
4 plus the ashes of his appendix. 4.5.
Wow, with the ashes of his appendix just to push him over the bit. Well, I'm going to leave you with this thought, which may be something that we explore in future episodes. I was looking at Empire the other day, just flicking through the movie review sections as it was. And I was thinking to myself, isn't it funny how sometimes just changing the name of a film might make that film more interesting and potentially give it a better review? And I came across a film that was released recently with Zachary Levi in it, called Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Oh no.
And I just thought, wouldn't it be better if it was called Harold and Kumar and the Purple Crayon?
Oh dear. Have you seen the trailer for that?
Yeah, I wanted to bleach my eyes afterwards.
Oh my god. We saw it at the cinema before we saw what the Despicable Me 4.
Yeah.
And my kids were like, that looks really good. And I'm like, not a snowball's chance in hell we're going to the cinema to watch that.
Yeah. Trouble is, you will do if they ask you to, though.
It's got Zoe Deschanel in it, so every cloud.
Is every Emma Stone in it? There we go again. Simple redhead. So, thank you very much for listening, watching, all 3 of you. Appreciated as always. From somebody who is more limping hyena than Wolverine, it's a pleasant evening. And from somebody who's more Fredpool than Deadpool, it is a...
My, hasn't Paul Rudd aged?
Oh, God, and in the famous words of Wolverine, let's fucking go! Thank you.
Bye-bye.